Oh, shoot. Hi. Hi. Sorry, forgot to turn my camera on. Hi, everyone. And I'm also not on the stream. Uh, I'm getting there. I'm getting a view on YouTube. All right, there we go. How is everyone tonight? Oh, this is awesome. I'm actually streaming at a reasonable time, reasonable hour, you know? This is wonderful. I might actually get to go to bed a little early tonight. Yay. 1 second. Wait, I'm streaming now.
You said you were recording.
No, well, this is quicker. Okay, thank you. All right. I was going to record instead of stream, but I changed my mind. Okay, there we go. Now I'm on the stream and on live chat. Hi, Mr. Black Wolf. How are you? Hey there. So I don't know. My hair looks like shit. I don't know why. I love using these stupid combs, but they never look good on me. I just can't wear them right. Oh, such a pain in my ass. Whatever. I don't care. I did refuse to wash my hair today. I'm going to have to wash it tomorrow for work, so screw it. And you can stay dirty for a day. All right. That looks a little better. Hi, Vivian. How are you? So I don't know if anyone caught any of the stream I did earlier. Hi, Purple Dragon Chill. I was reacting to and giving some commentary to Katie Joy's barely reading of Ryan Reynolds' motion to dismiss that was filed on the 18th. And it was comical. It's been comical. But we're only about an hour and a half through the stream, and I think it's like 2 hours, 2.5 hours long. So I thought I'd finish up with that. I wanted to also talk about the whole Karen Reed case, but there's so much that happened that's going to be a long ass stream to really cover much of there to bring anyone up to date. So I'm gonna work on that, and I'm gonna make that like a really good planned stream. There are a few other things, there's one other thing anyways that I wanted to stream about, and maybe we'll get to some. Yeah, we should probably be able to get to that, but we're going to save that for the end. Hi, Java Man. Hey, Victoria. All right, so with that being said, I'm going to go ahead. Where am I? Oh, I do have a tab open. Okay, well, now we can close it now. So we left off at about 128, I think, the 128 mark or so. All right, so, and I'm not going to be showing the video all throughout the stream because I don't know. I just get this feeling that she's going to start being crazy, stupid about that. So I'm going to, for the most part, play the audio. She doesn't do anything anyways on screen. So it's not like missing anything. In fact, it might even improve your experience. I'm kidding. That was petty, I know. I'm just kidding. She's a lovely woman. Okay. Holy shit, I can lie. Kidding. All right, that's mine. What's this? It's from YouTube Studio. Oh my god, why is my eye itching? All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and start this. But for anyone who wants to catch any commentary concerning the part of the stream that's already been passed of hers, just check out my stream from earlier today because that's what we were doing. So here we go.
I didn't watch the movie until I started covering this case, but I want to ask you, was there anyone in the audience that was wanting to see this film that made the decision not to see the film because of the way that Blake decided to market the film? Like if you were someone that was out there and you saw Blake acting ridiculous, were you like, oh, I'm not going to go see that movie now because this is just weird. Why is Blake telling me to go buy my florals and my friends? Sublime, coconut. So some of you.
I'm sorry. I guess I just don't understand. What's so wrong with alleging that Blake actually said what she said? What is so wrong with Blake saying, grab your florals, bring your friends? But I mean, because wasn't the main character like a floral shop owner? I mean, I don't understand what's so bad about that. She's trying to encourage women to go see this movie with girlfriends, with their friends. And if you wear some pretty flowers if you want. I mean, she's not telling people what to wear. It's just a stupid like gimmick kind of slogan kind of thing. But what's so wrong with it? Like, why did people flip out about this? I don't understand. It just seems so stupid. And I'm pretty sure that Justin was also saying the same shit. Not that it really matters, because it's I don't see how it's offensive. It's like a completely non-offensive thing to say, in my opinion. I don't understand it. Oh, do you think her going after Blake Lively will finally make KJ accountable for her lies and behavior? I don't think anything's going to hold her, make her accountable for anything. First of all, she has to, the accountability, it doesn't apply unless it comes from within. She has to have the realization that she was at fault or wrong. And that's never going to happen. I don't think that will ever happen. I mean, anything's possible, I suppose. But I don't think that'll ever happen. But also, I don't have any desire to see her held accountable. I don't have any damages here. Like, she hasn't harmed me. So I don't have damages for which to seek. I mean, I'd like to see her stop hurting people and stop telling lies on people for their sake, for the people's sake. But that's about it. I mean, I'm not here. Anything I do on my channel is not with a goal in mind of Katie Joy suffering or paying for her sins or whatever in any way. I'm just here to put out things as I see it in hopes that maybe it'll make a difference, So I don't know. I know like a lot of other people like feel differently about it maybe, and I don't blame them. Don't get me wrong, because it can be frustrating seeing the shit that she does and she just keeps doing it. I get it. But I can't be here for that, because if I'm here for that, then I'm just going to be sorely disappointed, because life isn't just. It just isn't. I don't know.
Some of you wanted nothing to do with this. Isn't that interesting?
What? Was she reading a comment?
Me,
I don't understand. She said, some of you wanted nothing to do with this. What does that mean? What, with covering this lawsuit? Let me see. I don't see anything. And if someone had made a comment like that, like as a rude comment, she would have deleted it. I wouldn't be able to see it anyways.
no, JB was not green. No, JB was.
What did it say? It's been alleged that production was all over.
No,
JB was
not green. You know what?
He probably was a little bit.
We're not going to go off of rumors from Reddit. He had already done 2 films. He was not a green director. This was a very well produced. They had
what?
How many employees that were involved? They had an award-winning composer as involved in this. They had directors and they had producers that had done many other films. So my cousin read 2 of her books and they said they were terrible. Yeah, they are.
I haven't read any of her books.
This document is summed up as IRR did call him JB a sexual predator, but I also may have not. But if I did say it, it's because it's true. Judge. So this doc has no validity and made for PR only. Got it. Yes, exactly. Exactly. Okay.
Okay. Sorry.
It is inconsistent with the FAC to find that Mr. Reynolds uttered the predator statements with actual malice. Indeed, there is not a single plausible factual allegation from which the jury could conclude that it was with actual malice. Y'all, I like how he's acting like he knows what the jury's going to think. This is the same man that thought it would be cool to put Deadpool and Nice Pool into a film, that whole thing. But he's
What was so wrong about that? I mean, I haven't seen the film yet, I'll be honest, and the only reason why I even know about this and seeing the clip that I've seen is, well, because Katie, posted it, but I don't see what the problem is there. And I mean, okay, like I said earlier in the first stream I did today, fucking cat hair. I am on no one's side here. I am not Team Justin. I'm not Team Blake. I think they're both sides are fucking ridiculous here. I think this whole thing is a waste of time. I don't think any harassment happened. I definitely not anything to warrant a lawsuit. Nor do I think that Justin Baldoni has been a target of some sort of smear campaign to have a movie stolen from. Like, why this movie? This movie wasn't like The Godfather or anything, okay? It wasn't like Rocky or whatever. This movie, who the fuck cares about this movie? I mean, seriously. Why would anyone go to these extremes to steal this movie? And they didn't even steal it because it's still under the ownership of Wayfair. So it's not even like it was stolen. I don't get it. Anyway, so I don't think any movie was stolen. I don't think anyone was a target of anything. I think that there's something about Justin that just rubs me the wrong way. He reminds me of a nice guy. I think that's his gimmick, maybe. I don't think that he's some predatory, harmful man necessarily, but I do think he crosses the line, and I do think he doesn't really care that much that he does, because he only goes so far. He doesn't go too far. And I do think that Blake, well, for someone who's married to someone with such a great sense of humor as Ryan Reynolds, I do think that she needs to chill the fuck out and maybe laugh a little. So that's where I stand in all of this. But now I forgot where I was going with that.
He's thinking that a logical jury is going to see this video.
Oh, that's where I was going with this. So that being said, I don't think that Ryan acted in malice. I do think that he holds the beliefs about Justin that he holds. That doesn't make, I'm not saying that he's right for that, but I do think that with the information he had been privy to, that he came to that conclusion genuinely.
And the TED Talk, and assume that this is why he's a predator. See, if I was on the jury.
Wait, what?
This is why he's a predator. The TED Talk, and is thinking that a lot thought it would be cool to put Deadpool and Nice Pool into a film, that whole thing. But he's thinking that a logical jury is going to see this video and the TED Talk and assume that this is why he's a predator. See, if I was
no. In fact, his motion to dismiss never said or suggested or hinted to anything of the sort. He's saying that if any jury that could possibly exist in this case would look at the information that he had been privy to, would hear what he had learned, would have seen or been told or whatever, and that's how he came to the conclusion that he thinks or thought that Justin is a predator. Not that he is, in fact, a predator. Because it doesn't matter if he is or not. Because what matters is whether or not shit was said was met with malice and knowingly false. That's what matters.
If I was on the jury, I would see that and I would be like, oh yeah, this guy had actual malice. Because if you add into the fact that the incentive of him doing this means that he can tarnish the reputation of a man that holds the sequel to a film that his wife could be in, that his wife could produce, and that his production company could put out. Because remember, Ryan owns Maximum Effort Production Company. Ryan and Blake owns her own production company. So you remember.
Not for long. I'm pretty sure that Ryan, the company that holds controlling interest in that company and who had who made Ryan, I think, CFO or something like that. It's not CFO. I don't think it's CEO. It's something like that, though. But I'm pretty sure that company is looking to sell its interest in Maximum, whatever. So, yeah.
Your sunscreen is aging you faster. Researchers found that chemicals like petroleum derivatives, UV stabilizers.
There could be actual malice. Yeah.
I love how she's suggesting that there could be actual malice because Ryan sees Wayfair as competition, professional competition. So would that mean that that's how Katie has viewed other YouTubers in the past, and she has, in fact, gone after them and tried to have them in their channel removed or canceled in any way? That's how I interpret that. Interesting.
He had been acting for decades, and with that his second and third movie, he wasn't inexperienced. He was considerate of his coworkers and wanted their thoughts. Yes. Okay. So there could actually be malice here because a movie's on the line. And he's trying to get around these.
Again, this movie wasn't Rocky. It wasn't like Jaws. It wasn't, I don't even know. It wasn't Titanic. I mean, nothing against Colleen Hoover, nothing against the screenwriters or this movie or whatever, but it's, I mean, is it really going to be remembered after 5 years? You know, so I don't understand why she thinks that everyone just is formulating all these conspiracies, all these collusions or whatever to obtain control of this movie, even with or without the rights to the second feature. I mean, I don't get it.
Things by saying, well, you didn't actually have a contract with me. Like, oh, so you just did it without a contract. Cool. You just admitted you did it though, Ryan.
Wait, what?
Did it without a contract with. And he's trying to get around these things by saying, well, you didn't actually have a. Okay. So there could actually be malice here because a movie's on the line. And he's trying to get around these things by saying, well, you didn't actually have a contract with me. Like, oh, so you just did it without a contract. Cool. You just admitted you did it though, Ryan.
Okay. I'm trying to understand that, but
it fails because it appears to rely entirely on alleged public disclosure of information, which the blah blahs. Even if it were not dispositive, the false light claim fails as a matter of law for the same reason as the defamation claim cannot survive dismissal. It's not constitutionally protected that you can say things about people that you know are not true. And it's very clear to me that.
See, that's the thing though. Where's the proof? Where's the evidence that proves or that shows that Ryan knew what he was saying was not true? Because he's given, I mean, I don't get me wrong, I don't think what he was saying was true, but I think he very possibly believed it was true. So, yeah.
That we know that it's not true because he has to dig into archives of Mr. Baldoni's records to find a couple statements he made and pull them out of context to try to double down on his position that he believes Baldoni is a predator. And it.
Oh, so then Katie just, I don't know, like 20 minutes ago in the stream, pulling up some interview Ryan did from 2011. Well, what's that show you then, huh? Yeah.
At the end of the day, what he's using to me, if I were in the jury pool, doesn't show to me that he's a predator. It shows to me that he's being very conscious of what, you know, how he's hurt people, how he can act differently. I
agree with that. But I also have to say that some of the things he said, I don't know. It still seems kind of weird to me. But I mean, I do acknowledge that he does appear to have grown since then. So there's that.
Mistakes he may have made as a child. He's also trying to say that he didn't interfere.
He said like teens, early 20s. Child. Oh, shit. I'm sorry. I just looked at chat. Hi, thank you for becoming a member, J. Marie W. Yay, welcome. Okay.
With the contract, but he did. If he got Wayfair to fire Baldoni based on the false claim that Justin Baldoni was a predator, that's actually interference in a contract.
But he didn't. So why are we having this discussion?
Florals and Friends, eye roll, eye roll, eye roll. Yes. Okay.
What is wrong with Florals and Friends? I don't get it. Get it.
Furthermore, because a claim of tortious interference requires a showing of breach of contracts, there is a terminable. He's trying to act like.
Ready to stop UTIs before they even start? Meet the first anti-UTI spray for women, Intimate Skin Support from
Ryan, that Justin didn't have a contract with WME. We know that they had a contract. They dropped him. The sole contract alleged in the complaint is the contract between the Wayfair parties and WME. But the FAC does not allege any details about the contract, including which parties it was bound to. So again, a technicality here. On the one hand, he's saying you didn't specify what the contract was. And then on the other hand, he's like, well, I know what the contract was. It was this, and this is why, and here it is. But you didn't give me the details of the contract. But here's the thing. The complaint that they put out for the lawsuit, you do not have to show all of your
they did drop
evidence.
them. But
He doesn't
it
have
says,
to
wait a minute.
attach a copy of his contract as evidence.
Yeah, let me share this. And let me show this. Oops, wrong one. Shit. Okay, so I just Googled, did WME drop Baldoni? And it says, yes, William Morris Endeavor dropped Justin Baldoni as a client after Blake Lively filed a lawsuit accusing him of sexual harassment on the set of, quote, It Ends With Us. So this is alleging that it's because of the lawsuit that they dropped him and not because of some shit that Ryan Reynolds said. Granted, it's a stupid AI overview, but I mean, it's usually pretty on point. All right, so I want to just pull this up real quick. Justin Baldoni dropped from WME after Blake Lively files complaint accusing him of sexual harassment on December 21st, 2024. This was written, or posted, rather. Justin Baldoni has been dropped by WME following Blake Lively's accusing him of sexual harassment in a complaint filed Friday, The Hollywood Reporter has learned. The update comes hours after news broke that Lively was taking legal action against her It Ends With Us co-star and director. In the filing, the Simple Favor actress, who was also wrecked by WME, along with her husband, Ryan Reynolds, not only accused Baldoni and his co-workers at Wayfair Studio of sexual harassment, but also of an alleged coordinated effort to destroy her reputation. The Jane the Virgin star's lawyer, Brian Friedman, fired back at the allegations, calling them shameful, serious, and categorically false. Lively claims in the filing that things got so bad on set that there was a meeting with Lively, Sony Pictures, Baldoni, and Jamie Heath. Okay. So this is alleging that that's why they dropped him. Not, and I want to say that wasn't the first, the initial complaint or whatever regarding these lawsuits, wasn't it filed like around the 21st of December, maybe? I don't know. I think, I know it was December, but so it seems that Katie would be wrong, that Ryan Reynolds really didn't have much to do with that it was the lawsuit. Okay. I mean, not surprised, but whatever. All right, let me go back to the other tab. Okay. Wait, is that the one I was on? Yes, it is. Okay.
With WME, because it technically could violate confidentiality rules, and so it will very much be a part of discovery. Absolutely, the contract will be a part of the discovery, but he's trying to get out on a technicality and say that he doesn't know what the contract is, but he knows what the contract is. Okay. He doesn't know what the contractual provisions were. All of this is just blah, blah, fluff, 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 crap, crap, crap. He approached an executive at WME and suggested the agency was working with a predator, and at a later date demanded the agent drop him. Did those things happen? Ari Emanuel's on a podcast saying, well, what they told me was he was a bad guy.
Camera.
That Mr. Reynolds' alleged demand was anything other than an expression of a sincerely held belief, which is neither criminal nor notorious under the First Amendment. So he's saying, this is where it gets wild. So he's like, even if I did it, you guys, I didn't actually do anything wrong because it was my First Amendment right to tell the agents to drop Baldoni because I think he's a predator. If he did do it, he's a right to do it.
It was normal in shamanism to bring the message from different beings.
Quantum entanglement. That's what.
This man is crazy.
Sorry
think
about
he
that.
has
Apparently, I can't catch to
a
save my
very
life. Michael's pointing at something here. Wait a minute. Guess the cat's up top there. There's a cat. Hi, kitty. Okay, there we go. Sorry about that. I know everyone likes to see the kitty, though. I know I do. All right, so I had that shared. Okay, I'm just gonna go ahead and let that
serious case of narcissistic personality
What?
disorder with a side of sociopath, maybe a psychopath. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
You know, we can just blame this on the fact that he's a Canadian. I don't know.
At some point, that shit.
Wayfair parties. He's really stuck on these damages. The damages part just doesn't. It's stupid. Like it's.
You know, listen.
This is all just nonsense.
I
I'm not gonna
know-
dismiss a case based on
I
damages.
know with all the shit going on lately, you know, Americans are starting to really start to like kind of side eye Canadians, but our Canadian neighbors, I think that they've been really generous and really just nice and understanding, and compassionate to us. I mean, the most of them are not anything like Cheshire, so we really shouldn't judge them as though they are all shitheads. So I don't know. That's what I'm going to do anyway.
They don't have to,
What? No.
in a complaint,
What?
tell them why then this number is why they're going to sue and how much they're going to ask for. They don't have to put that in any complaint. I would actually, if none of you have read a complaint before, if you've not been privy to civil litigation, I would challenge you to read other complaints from a public case like this, and you'll see that a lot of the arguments that he is making are not valid, and in the world of civil litigation are not going to get this case dismissed. In New York and California, all a lawsuit is a statement of notice.
I can't take it. This cat's so fucking cute. What are you doing? Huh? Well, come here. You want to come sit on my lap for a minute? Come here. Huh? No? Okay, good. Then get the hell out. No, get down. Go.
That we're going to sue you. The complaint is simply the first part of the action, and it's discovery that is what builds the case and brings it forward. These are what they're claiming has been done to them. They do not have to bring any evidence to the table when they put the complaint together. All they have to do is describe in detail what happened.
Yeah, but you see, a lawsuit like this for defamation, especially, I think can be dismissed in the beginning, not just simply because of jurisdiction or whatever, but if the claim in the complaint is that so-and-so said something not nice about me, basically, you know, then I think the court can absolutely, because I mean, you're supposed to state what it is you're going to present evidence to support. And if the worst of your claims is, assuming that there's all the evidence in the world for it, if the worst of your claims is just not against any laws or statutes, well, then I think it can be dismissed. So, but I'm not a lawyer. I'm not, I don't know.
To them and why they believe they have been victimized and are eligible for compensation. Okay. It says that the FAC allegations that Mr. Reynolds participated in a conspiracy to engage in tortious conduct against any of the Wayfair plaintiffs was utterly conclusionary, asserting that Miss Lively was working with her husband, conspired to harm the Wayfair parties by advancing the narrative to the press, is unsupported speculation. He doesn't get to decide that right now because they don't know what's in discovery, and that's not a law. Alleging that Mr. Reynolds apparently joined a campaign.
Well, then why is it that in the initial complaints, everyone's sharing screenshots and whatnot? I mean, if you don't have to do that in the initial complaint, you just state what it is that happened and that's it. Then why the fuck did we read so many freaking screenshots of text messages and emails and whatever else? I mean,
to extract concessions and creative control over a film.
And Ryan isn't deciding that. Ryan's attorneys, but whatever, for argument's sake, I'll say Ryan. Ryan isn't disputing that. Ryan is just making an argument. or I mean, Ryan isn't determining that. He's just making an argument to dispute it. That's what he's doing. He's not deciding this for anyone. Otherwise, why the fuck would there be a judge?
By January 4th, 2024, and pure boilerplate reciting elements of a civil conspiracy liability. This actually...
Incrediwear is the first wearable anti-inflammatory. Not only does it take away the
is the claim. That's their claim. He just doesn't like that this is the claim that was made, but you cannot get it thrown out because you don't like what the claim is. He wants to get it thrown out before it's litigated. Very weird. And it says, appearing to recognize this deficiency, they confine each of their allegations to on information and belief. Maybe, maybe not. They're using the information and belief right now. My belief they're using that is because they don't want to say it's a way of getting around the fact that it's a fact. So it's what they currently believe, and it could change when they do discovery.
Or they've been informed and therefore believe it.
That he wants attorney's fees, which is ridiculous. And then he's talking about something about the New York Times. And then it says that he wants them to strike Exhibit A. So he just spent 28 pages detailing why this complaint doesn't have enough evidence and doesn't prove anything. But then he wants the Exhibit A to be struck from the record because it has too much information.
I didn't see him say that was
and that it would other than instruments to the complaint would do considerable damage to the notice requirement, requiring a defendant to hunt around in voluminous materials to figure out what the plaintiff alleges and relevant and support its claims that is extraneous. So now he's saying that this document Exhibit A, that's the timeline of events, well, that's just
okay. Wait, so I did a keyword search for exhibit. Let's see what comes up. And the hell? No, is that what it was? How do I do that then? How do I go in? Okay, what? Oh, that's how I'm an idiot. Okay, so there's 5 examples of him saying exhibit. And we have, it's part of the table content. Number 4, it says the court should strike Exhibit A to the Wayfarer complaint or at a minimum disregard it. That's the first mention. The second mention is the court should strike Exhibit A to the Wayfarer complaint or at a minimum disregard it. That's on page 37 of the 38-page filing. And then Mr. Reynolds joins the argument in the Sloan MTD, moving the court to strike the FAC's Exhibit A pursuant to rule yada yada. As this court has recognized, permitting a party to satisfy its pleading requirements by attaching documents other than instruments to the complaint would do considerable damage to Rule 8A's notice requirement. Okay. And then the last one. Yep. Even if the court does not strike Exhibit A, it cannot properly consider it to evaluate whether the FAC sufficiently states a claim. So, I'm sorry. Let me go back up here to this one again. Ryan joins the argument with others to strike the FAC's Exhibit A pursuant to a rule, because this court has recognized permitting a party to satisfy its pleading requirements by attaching documents other than instruments to the complaint would do considerable damage to Rule 8A's notice requirement. So I'm guessing that means if they are allowed to bring shit in that isn't relevant, maybe. That's what it sounds like to me. And what did she say that it was again? Let me see.
So much saying what the plaintiff, other than instruments to the complaint would do considerable damage to the notice requirement, requiring a defendant to hunt around in voluminous materials to figure out what the plaintiff alleges and relevant and support its claims that is extraneous. So now he's saying that this document Exhibit A, that's the timeline of events, well, that's just so much information and so hard for me to figure out what your claims are that you need to strike this.
Okay. Now, I do think that I am able to read and comprehend shit pretty well, though I'm a little tired and this is legal jargon. It forces shit out of me. Did I miss something? Is that in fact what he said? Like, is she interpreting what this filing says correctly, or what the fuck is she thinking? You know, like, where are we here on the spectrum of things? Are we like, no, that's it, she's fucking dead to rights? Or are we over here like, oh my God, bitch is like fucking floating in her head in the highest levels of the atmosphere shit? You know, like, which is it? I'm curious. Hi, Gigi. Okay, so I just said her reading comprehension skills are bad. So I think that kind of answers it for me. All right, cool. Thank you. Where are we? Wait, what's the timestamp we're at? 1:39:52. So we'll say 1:40. I wanted to play something because if you didn't catch a live stream earlier, you missed this part, and I really want people to see this part. So, sorry about there, I think. Let me do a quick keyword search.
This is the last bra you will ever buy.
This right here is a supportive comfort wire.
Yeah, I'm going to be sharing the screen too now for this. Okay.
It's wild, you guys.
I already got Hoover in there, okay. This is right around the 1 hour mark. Okay, so I'm right around it. Okay.
He also brings up Baldoni's porn addiction, which again has absolutely nothing to do
Oh, that's
with
right.
this.
It's right over
None
here.
of this is in his in his First Amendment complaint. Literally all of this. He called a woman sexy. Ryan, you just literally admitted that you groped Olivia Wilde on a set and that you broke character and were aroused during.
He admitted no such thing. Never once did he state or even insinuate that he was in fact aroused. Like, it's just
It's wild, you guys. He also brings up Baldoni's porn addiction, which again has absolutely nothing to do with this. None of this is in his in his First Amendment complaint. Literally all of this is just crap he probably wants the public to consume so that he can further smear him. That's my opinion. He links all these different podcasts as evidence. So he's taking conversations out of place. I was introduced to it when I was 10 years old. He admits that you're right, as a Black man or you as a woman, you have had to put up with a lot of shit from people that looks like me or from me your entire life. And again, it could be a laundry or it could be a microaggression or racism or sexism, whatever it is, I've done all of them. Or that he wanted, as a man, to claim her publicly. On some level, I knew it would make me feel more like a man about wanting to claim his wife publicly. While it is unclear to what the predator means to an average listener, it is quite clear that it is no discernible distinction between the gist of Mr. Reynolds' purported statements and the behavior of which Mr. Baldoni has repeatedly confessed to in public appearances, including he spent years of his life mistreating women, which he attributes to his lengthy addiction to pornography, as well as openly describing his distorted conception of consent in relationships.
Listen what she says.
So this is the evidence that Ryan Reynolds is using to make people believe that he's a predator. And he says that the average, it might be unclear to the average.
First of all, this is what Ryan Reynolds is listing as to why he believes him to be a predator, not why he is a predator. He's not trying to prove that he is, in fact, this thing. He's just pointing out the reasons for which he believed him to be these things.
Listener. Well, what does that mean? It means that Ryan's brain made up something that didn't exist. Because I want to ask you in the chat, this is what he referenced. Let's add this again, okay?
You are what you consume.
Okay, right here. Listen to what Baldoni says, okay? Because Katie, this is like the second time she covers this part of this podcast that she's about to play. And each time she starts at about the same spot and plays it and plays it or recites it for about the same length. But
sure.
This is, you guys, This is the statement that he says proves that Baldoni, the average listener, you guys.
It starts to become very confusing, which is definitely something that happened to me. I'm sure I have crossed boundaries and lines in my teens and 20s, not even thinking about it, simply because of the porn I was consuming. You are what you consume. It's that simple. And so many men, so many of us men, I would argue that in the high 90s are consuming it on a daily or weekly basis. And that is absolutely influencing the way that they see the world, the way that they see their relationships, and the way that they view women as objects and not people.
Parents need to have a
So,
Okay, so-
in any part of that conversation, did Justin 1A admit that he did anything to a woman that was of a sexual nature? Did he admit that he SA'd anyone or SH'd anyone?
Notice where Katie Joy started playing that video at, and notice the claim she's making now that this had nothing to do with sex. It was not of a sexual nature. That's not the consent that he was talking about. Well, let's listen to that clip in its entirety, including the context that led up to the sentences we just heard him state. So right about here.
To set these.
Okay, now I'm going to let this play, but we're going to read it too. Right here. Okay, so about 11:21.
Conversation comes in, of course, but then when you hit 11 or 12 and your friends have a phone and maybe you don't, and you're being shown things on the phone for the first time, and that's cool. And then you start to think that that is what women want. And, porn, as we know, no means yes or try harder, right? Quoting our good friend Ted Bunch at A Call to Men. It starts to become very confusing, which is definitely something that happened to me. I'm sure I have crossed boundaries and lines in my teens and 20s, not even thinking about it, simply because of the porn I was consuming.
See, now Katie conveniently left that beginning part out. Now, don't get me wrong. I don't think that what he's confessing to here is a huge deal. I think what he's talking about as far as like crossing boundaries or whatever is like, so being with a chick and, and she says no, and then he waits a few minutes and then just tries again. You know what I mean? Like, I think that that's the kind of shit that he's talking about. I could be wrong, but whatever. That's the vibe I get. So I'm not even coming for him on this. Although if you want to sit here and tell me that you view the world through porn eyes because you simply watch porn, well, I hope you never watch Lethal Weapon. You know what I mean? So I kind of side-eye him for that shit. But regardless, this is about Katie. Katie is playing this for her viewers, for her followers, whatever. And she's deliberately left that part out. She's manufacturing what the actual story is, what the actual claim is, so she can elicit the response and the emotion she wants out of her viewers. That's propaganda. So that's what I wanted to point out. But yeah, like that's what he said here though, that Katie Joy just glossed right over, is that phone for the first time, and that's cool. And then you start to think that that is what women want. And right, porn, as we know, no means yes or try harder. Quoting our good friend, whatever that's about, I don't know. Becoming very confusing, which is definitely something that happened to me. I'm sure I have crossed boundaries and lines in my teens and 20s. What he's saying, I mean, I don't even think what he's saying here is really that bad, just a little bad, but not that bad. But Katie Joy just purposely hid that from people so they could just see this perfectly innocent thing and think, oh my God, why are people coming for this man? Wrong one. Okay, so 140 I left off at. Yep.
That's the motion to dismiss. So,
hi Gigi, or Gigi. Oh, I think I.
Yeah, and even if it's stricken from the record, what that
Okay.
Exhibit A is
See
this
now.
evidence. And it's basically just showing the court what evidence that they have. Full sprint contradiction. Correct. Okay.
You saw that too? I
We
don't
also
know.
have the Leslie Sloan response by
I don't
Ryan
know.
Friedman today.
I looked into it already. And
One second.
get to know
But I want to just double check to see if there's not
conclusion.
anything else that's been filed today.
There's DIY, and there's doing it yourself.
So my baseline after reading this was that one, Ryan Reynolds is unhinged. He is absolutely insane. He's doubling and tripling down on claims that are vastly overstated. He doesn't have a case whatsoever to make claim that Justin is a predator other than the mind of a jealous husband that doesn't want a director that's extremely good looking and has amazing abs.
Has she seen Ryan Reynolds? Like, for real? I mean, they're about the same age. So it's not even like Justin is like some new, like 20, 25-year-old coming onto the scene, you know, making Ryan feel all old or shit. No, they're about the same age. And I mean, Justin's a good looking guy, sure. Okay. But he ain't no Ryan Reynolds. And he's definitely not Ryan Reynolds in terms of personality and attitude and sense of humor and not so much douchebaggery, I think, but that's just my opinion. I have nothing to base that on other than I just sense it. But what is she thinking? Does she really think that Ryan Reynolds is sitting there over there jealous, afraid that this dude is just going to come and steal his wife? I mean, come on. Or she suggested early in the stream that Ryan is just jealous because Justin has a production company, a podcast, and a TED Talk. And I'm like, you don't think that Ryan can have all three of those things in like 1 second and they'd all be much more lucrative than whatever the fuck it is Justin put out? If he wanted this shit, he'd have that shit. You know? I mean, it's so ridiculous. Like, I don't know. And she lives right up by Canada. You think she would know this shit?
To touch his wife. He's jealous of Baldoni, and I believe that he views Baldoni as a threat.
Yeah, to his wife, maybe. No, I'm kidding. I don't know. I don't think so, but whatever.
Motion to seal. Oh, Jed Wallace just filed a motion to dismiss.
Go down that.
We represent the defendant, Jed Wallace, in street relations. They filed this lawsuit. They had no intention of moving forward with it. And they're just towards Blake Lively. And that Wayfair parties orchestrated a retaliation.
It's great in interviews because he made terrible
learning this. Machines and public facing communications. It's toxic behind the scenes. Very learning this. Very toxic. I look like a ballerina. Well, thank you. Also, I just want to.
I know. No, I gotta know who said that. Who the fuck said that? Oh shit! That's not giving me the chat. Let me do.
And
all right. I gotta know who said that she looks like a fucking ballerina. Who the fuck said that? Come on. Who's trolling her? I don't know how to spell ballerina. The IA or A? I think it's IA. Maybe not. There it is. Oh, there's only one L. Is it two? I don't have that class. Okay, so 156.06. Oh shit. Whoever said it, their comment's gone because it's. Oh no, wait, I have it set to transcription only. Okay. Oh. There we go. T-Teresa, you look like a ballerina with your hair slicked back. Oh, okay. All right. I can see that.
I look like a ballerina. Well, thank you. Also, I just wanted
for my daughters, and I really failed. And they were so ugly. And then of course I let my daughters participate, as you can tell. Ryan wasn't even in town, and then I just posted this and made it seem like he made terrible, ugly cookies. That's what he gets for leaving town. Okay.
My husband says I look 10 years younger with these. I'm 41. People don't believe my age. This.
It's great in interviews because nobody. And I really pride.
This is where.
City
Okay, so here I'd like to tell you something. One of the things that they can do to poke holes in her credibility is to actually look at her own public statements. And here's Blake admitting she lies to journalists.
Here's the real secret behind this tweet.
You mean like so many fucking YouTubers and Twitter accounts and Instagram and whatever other platform there are accounts do with you?
This is full spoiler.
Oh,
I made these cookies and they were so bad. And I really pride myself. See, I talk about what a good baker I am and what a good cook I am, but it's great in interviews because nobody's actually trying your food. So they can't really fact check it. So everybody's like, oh, like you're such a great chef. Tell me about that. And they have no idea what I can just totally don't know. So I mean.
So Blake admits that she will lie to journalists about her cooking skills because they won't fact check her.
What a bitch. Fuck. Come on. Oh my God.
This is the Betty White case. You flick.
Now this is Blake on the promotion for Rhythm section. Listen to her talk about men. Listen to the way that Blake openly discusses men.
And somebody's doubled over.
It is an external system.
Women go through.
Yes.
Right? Because this is the Betty White case. You flick them and somebody's doubled over.
It is an external
what
system.
Women go through.
Yes.
Right?
All right.
I lost my family 3 years ago.
Pretty bad hand injury.
But we had to injure your hand. Like I could have closed it in an elevator and then I wouldn't have had any. A 3.5 minute fight. Capture the right things we have.
What would what's the big aspect you would want to tackle in a potential sequel?
Well, I think in this movie, in the Rhythm section, Jude Law says to her, I think that's a book.
When she's an assassin, but nobody ever found the body. But this, was in a one take fight. Cool way to injure your hand. Like the stitches were from my injury.
So sorry. She says that Mike dropped Disney. She admits that she's talking about flicking a man's balls.
Okay. First of all, I know exactly what she's referring to when she said the Betty White thing or whatever in the beginning. There was a meme, and I'm pretty sure that maybe Betty White did say this, but I never verified it, so whatever. But it's been attributed to Betty White having said this. And she says something like, everyone always says, grow some balls, get some balls. Well, I forget what it was. Something about never mind the balls, grow a vagina. Those things can really take a pounding. Now, it sounds like something Betty White would have said. So that's why I think it's plausible. But I think that's what she was talking about when referencing how sensitive the balls are and how whiny the men are about that. I'm confused. So why is this such a bad thing? She's joking around. Fucking joking. Like, Jesus Christ. I mean, I know that lawsuits can get to people, but they can't just sue you out of your sense of humor, the little bit of one that you did have. I mean, can they?
Get a man's balls.
I'd sue for damages for that. Like, maybe they can get another one for you.
You guys. I have more of these, hold on.
Oh, God. Of course she does.
I have another one I want to show you. This is her admitting to turning people against Oliver Stone. Literal ball buster, yes. Such a weird word to say too. I've never heard anyone use that word before.
What was the weird word?
Or while filming.
Because of Betty Buzz, we don't test on animals. We test on men.
That's a good boy. Drink up.
Let them know how good it is.
So this was made while she was filming It Ends With Us, by the way.
So what? What does that have to do with anything? You're going to like just look and analyze every single fucking action and all of her behavior for the entire length of filming because she should have known better because of the movie she was filming that no one had seen yet or whatever. Like, what the fuck, man? What is it with these like purity tests here over this shit? And I gotta say that commercial, that's some fucking smart ass marketing because that makes me want to go out and buy her fucking boobs now. I don't care. That's a very effective commercial. And well, I guess you'd have to be a cold fish to not be affected by that.
She objectified a man in her to promote her booze. You know, they test on men, she says, right?
It was a joke. I don't think that she was really testing shit on men like it's some sort of fucking crazy ass lab. Pretty sure that that's not happening.
We're supposed to believe that the woman that treats men like this is somehow not in charge of her own self, and Justin had full control over her.
Oh, I'm sorry. So what, you just think control is something, if a woman exerts control or appears to have control once, therefore she must always have the control. Is that what you're saying? Like those tables never turn somehow all the time, like every other day? That's a shitty thing to say.
Hold on, I gotta clean some of these out. Blake and Ryan are rough around the edges kind of people, allegedly. Well, I don't know. I can be a rough around the edges, and I don't know, man.
Who the fuck was talking about you? Like, why are you bringing you? Why are you referencing your? No one was even thinking about you and your fucking edges. It's been years since anyone thought of your edges. Seriously, why? What's this have to do with you? I mean, are you like the control or like the starting point on judging everyone else and their edges? I mean, what the fuck? Right,
I have another one. Hold on a second.
And Michelle's thrilled. She's been a member for 19 months now.
Second.
I feel like you poured a lot into this movie, but then you turned around and you were just as supportive of Ryan. What is it like to...
And my hair care company, Blake Brown, my goodness gracious.
Why are you on the red carpet of your film, cross-promoting Deadpool and Wolverine and your hair care line? This is at the film premiere, you guys.
It's been crazy.
Hey, you can't always tell people you love their movies, but I love this one. So seriously, thank you for taking the time.
Oh, man, thanks.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
I don't understand what the big deal is about her promoting her hair care line or whatever. I mean, hopefully she was intending, or she did and already state that she intended to donate so much of the proceeds to some sort of, I don't know, I guess domestic violence organization or whatever, charity. That would have been nice. I don't know. I don't know if that's the case. I don't know if it's not the case, but I don't see what the big deal is. I mean, all kinds of stars. I mean, seriously, how many movies have men been in, and that have a scene or depict scenes or whatever of like all kinds of violence towards women, and they're probably up there fucking promoting like a condom company or something. You know what I mean? No one's gonna bat an eye at that though. Why the fuck is that? I mean, why? I mean, she just comes across so much as a pick-me girl. She just wants to please the men, the guys watching. And the only way she knows how to do that is, it seems to kick down the other women around her.
I'm going to jump into this, and Blake, I'm going to start with you. Most of us, if we're lucky enough to run into a celebrity in public, we only have a few moments to maybe.
She's contradictions, but I'll act with them. And then I got no pet monkey. But Chuck has a matching pet monkey with coordinating outfits, and I was like, I would love to be part of the show, but I can't act with a monkey. And then I got a few of them.
Maybe it would be.
Well, I met Blake. I worked with
Is every color.
us.
Your scenes like we saw
That
shouldn't be happening. Or
what's he saying? This is not me. This is her. Right? I am showing screen. Okay.
that shouldn't be happening. But
Blake was getting called out for telling Justin about.
Out here, every cast is a.
Wait a minute. What do you mean? What about my sound? Wait a second. Okay, sorry about that. What do you mean my sound is annoying? What's wrong with my sound? Like seriously, I haven't heard this is the first I've heard about it, so what's wrong with my sound? What do you want, kitty? Huh? Like maybe. All right, this is gonna make noise. Wait a minute. Okay, that might be better. I don't know, but all right. Well, if there's something like if there's something specific you can point out, then I can know to fix it. But I just don't know. You like kitty, huh? Okay. Now I forgot what I was saying.
Chance, and every catch a memory. If that's how
The intimacy coordinator. That's not the video I wanted to share. Let me find it. I have an actual video I wanted to share. I have a lot of videos here. Oh, I'm sorry. Okay, it's out there. This to me is like the walking contradiction of Brandon Sklenar.
I don't even know who that is.
Personally, I don't know if you watched the film. I think he is a very mediocre actor.
I don't care. I'm skipping over that. I don't even care who he
Kind of
is.
like he was asked if he was familiar with this book before he got the script. Listen to this.
How familiar were you with the novel going into this? And then
He's working really hard for an answer. Correct. Like, oh, I don't know. Like, and so
he's not the smartest guy.
yeah, and he's wearing a tank top and a blazer. Like, who dressed this guy's? You guys, I don't really care about what.
Really? Can't get down. Get down. Get down. Get down. Enough. Really? Did she just say who dressed? She's going. Okay.
People dress, but okay. When I saw that, I was like, are we really supposed to believe that this guy is smart enough to come up with his own thoughts and feelings? Maybe not. But, you know, I found this video on TikTok.
It ends with us moving.
Okay. And I want to share this with you because I want this to be something that you guys take away from this video. Blake will never be able to answer to the fact that there was a whole world on Book Talk that made Colleen Hoover famous. And she will never be able to take away from the fact that Colleen Hoover was being canceled before this film came out. Half of Book Talk hates her now. And a lot of people didn't want to see the film. And then when they saw the way that Blake was putting out the movie, got angry. This was all organic. And the backlash that
But yet somehow the movie grossed like something like $400 million. Yeah, okay.
she received originated on TikTok and it spread everywhere else. So Blake will have a really hard time, in my opinion, claiming a smear campaign when you have videos like this, which is before the purported smear campaign started.
The promo is literally making me sick. Colleen Hoover's It Ends With Us has been a highly contested book because it features domestic violence, and a lot of people, including myself, feel like it is not handled with care. There was literally a coloring book that was going to come out about it, but she realized it was insensitive after a lot of backlash and took it back. She didn't make it. But she only did that because people got mad. And I know that now, looking at this movie promo coverage, that features a lot of stuff about Deadpool and Wolverine, and Blake Lively's husband and mom confronting her romantic love interest in the movie. All this promo is just so unserious for a very, very serious topic. Not to mention the fact that Blake Lively coincidentally just launched her hair care brand at the same time all this movie press has been coming out. Because she knows the hype surrounding the movie is going to bring more people to her page, and they're going to see this. So now you're just capitalizing off of a story about domestic violence. But I have yet to see one promotion for the movie talking about the community that they're trying to uplift. The topic is incredibly danced around, which is one, irresponsible.
See, this is what I take issue with. It wasn't their responsibility to uplift any community. I mean, I don't know how much of the film involved or how much of the film's storyline centered around domestic violence, but like, it's a story. It's a book. I mean, it's not a PSA. I mean, seriously, think about it. Like, was there any backlash like this for when Sleeping with the Enemy came out, or that Jennifer Lopez movie Enough came out? And those are the only two I seem to be able to think of today. I can't recall any others. Urban Cowboy. Well, no, it was in the 70s. It was like a whole different era. Never mind that. But seriously, like, why are they being held to task here over this? I mean, I don't know. She was the actress in it. I mean, why is all this shit being laid upon her? It just seems ridiculous. I don't know.
Because people who suffer from domestic violence would want a warning that this is the content they're going to consume. And two, just makes it feel
trigger warnings in movies. We have those though. I mean, well, for granted, you have to search them out. You have to go to like the IMDb page or whatever, and like go to like the parental advisory shit or whatever. But you can do that. I mean, no other film puts out warnings for that, except for on the IMDb page, pretty much. Maybe a brief little warning, like right in the beginning credits or something. But I don't even think that much. Again, though, I have to ask, why this movie? Why this woman? Why is she having to pay for all of the sins of everyone else that this creator right here is listing? Like, why?
like a cheap gimmick plot twist that you're not supposed to know ahead of time.
I am shocked.
Finally, a new alternative that makes liquid makeup obsolete. Women over 40.
So this was a prevailing thought by people on Book Talk, by the way. So how does Blake Lively answer to the fact that this was what people on Book Talk were saying about her, right? Like,
why is it all befalling on Blake Lively, though? I mean, Justin Baldoni, however anyone wants to argue it, Blake Lively did not steal or take control over anything. Justin Baldoni just seemed to relinquish control. Like, he just got the fuck out of Dodge. Like, why? Why? Like, how? I don't think I'd be able to do that. Like, with all of these claims from each other going back and forth, I noticed that oh, my cat's got a hairball that sounds so gross. Sorry, let me mute. Okay, I think they're done. Stealing the movie or whatever. Okay, so here's what I know. Here's what is indisputable. What it's actually happened. So right after all this shit came out, at the end of December, Justin Baldoni's podcast partner, I guess he's done a podcast with two other people, one male, one female. The female up and left the podcast and stated it's because of the drama and shit surrounding this, but she didn't state her reasoning indicating that she was on one side or the other, or even just like torn between. She just stated like nothing to depict anything like that. So there's that. Then, Blake Lively gets the film, or gets to make the ending to the film rather. And when they're doing promotion for the film and the rest of the cast and crew is there with Blake, they don't want Baldoni there. Now you can sit there and say that's because Blake poisoned their minds or whatever. And maybe, I think that that's a reasonable conclusion to some degree. But like, we're talking a lot of people, like a whole cast and crew. They're not all going to be susceptible to one person just lying their ass off to them like that, like, or tricking them or whatever. Or I don't know. One person would have talked. One person would have talked. That's just all. It's how it is. And then like, and then his agency there dropped him. Like, why is it that these allegations are going back and forth between the two, but the only one who's having people leave them and it is Justin, and these people that are leaving him are like people who've been close to him for the most part. You know, I mean, I don't know. I have to wonder why that is.
She answer that this backlash was starting right before the film came out and even before, right? This woman's TikTok is one of many that I found. And she wants to blame Justin for this organic woman's opinion. It's like she thinks that people are stupid and don't have a memory of what she did on the press tour, and we're supposed to forget, and now we're supposed to blame Justin.
What does she mean what she did on the press tour? Is she talking about like promoting the film separately or something? I mean, wait a minute.
I found so many of these kinds of videos where I was like, she can't be serious that she actually thinks that this was done by Justin. Here's another one.
This is your friendly reminder that this book is about breaking a generational cycle of domestic abuse, and it is not the movie for you to don your florals, grab your besties, and go in for a cute little rom-com, okay? Like, take it seriously. This is not a lighthearted movie.
Here's the difference between...
She's not the only one who said that stupid saying there about the florals. Justin did too. I wonder, is anyone giving him shit for it?
Mudwater and mushroom coffee. I'm Matt, food scientist and head of R&D at...
How does she
And who are you going to see this movie with? Seriously, not your best friends or whatever. I mean, because that's something, I don't know. I would want to go with maybe other women rather than, especially if I were in a domestic violent relationship, I would not want to go there with my partner. So I would want to go there with my girlfriend. So why is this such a fucking sin? I don't get it. It doesn't make sense. There's no way that this many people online are going to be this mad over something so ridiculous.
Explained that there was TikTokers that were criticizing her for the things that she claims Justin Baldoni planted into the media through a smear campaign.
Oh, but he did. I mean, his attorney has been talking with the press. I think Justin Baldoni even talked to the press. The one side who hasn't talked to the press at all has been Blake Lively's side. I have to wonder why that is. And here's the thing. I don't think Justin is bad. I don't think he's wrong. He did nothing. If everything Blake says about him is true, nothing he's done is worthy of any kind of hate like this or any kind of cancellation. I don't even think it's any of it's that big of a deal. I would definitely not even call it harassment. Definitely not worthy of a lawsuit. Maybe just worthy of someone thinking you're a dick. Okay. Because of that, I find it so weird that this man has gone to these extremes to try to beat these things down. Why? When the very worst that could happen if you failed at beating him down is that people would think very few people would think any differently of you. I don't understand it. I just don't. Am I the only one here? It just seems nuts. It seems nuts that she's actually formulating or basing a lawsuit off of the shit that she's claiming. And it seems nuts that he's putting in all this work, money, and effort to combat that rather than just live up to his image that he's been trying to portray as this male feminist and just be like, listen, I don't see where I've done these things that she's claimed. And I don't agree with the conclusion that I've done these things. However, for some reason, she's feeling the way she's feeling. So something must have happened to cause this reaction. And I can't, for the life of me, figure out what that is. But all I want to say is I'm sorry. You know, I feel like suing back and going to these extremes is just the wrong reaction to have. I don't know. That's just me, though. What the fuck do I know? Oh, sounds like my mic stand is rocking and making noises when you. Oh, okay. All right. Thank you. I'll work on. I'll tighten that and shit tonight too, and see what I can do to help fix that. I talk with my hands though, so I might have to sit away from it. I might have to hook it up to something else. Put the arm on maybe my shelves or something over there. That might work. Yeah, it's gonna have to be that. I'll work on that before my next stream. But for now, I'm gonna get going because I'm already being summoned and shit. I guess dog has to go out, and my friend Jen is supposed to be here too in about 10 minutes. I gotta run something outside to her. So yeah, I think I'm gonna end it here for this stream. There was something else I kind of wanted to go over, but I think that's just gonna have to wait till next stream. But because I want to be able to give it more than just like 5 minutes. I want to be able to give it like a good like half hour, anyways. But I don't know. I did my time-consuming little traits of just picking all of these little tiny clips and putting them together, and they tell a story. Not about this though. Anyway. All right, guys. Thanks for being here. I'm looking at chat. I don't see anything really. All right. Sounds like a marble is hopping around anymore. Okay. Yeah. All right. I'll fix that tonight. I'm sorry. I didn't even realize that. I wonder if it came loose or something. I don't know. Might have. All right, guys. Have a good night. Thanks for being here. And I will not be streaming tomorrow night, but maybe Saturday night. Yeah, and I go in at 2 tomorrow, so I won't be streaming during the day. Where are we going? Remove. Okay, there we go. All right, guys. Good night. Thanks for being here. See you later.